Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Mornings LATE with a series of major breaking developing news just in the last few minutes, including breaking developing news about your $1,400 third stimulus check. Also, breaking developing news about reoccurring stimulus checks and a shocker about that $10,200 of unemployment benefits. First, just minutes ago, 21 Democrats, Senate Democrats, that's 50% of them practically, wrote the president a letter and said that this is a new letter, wrote the president a letter saying they are demanding reoccurring monthly stimulus checks of $1,400. And if it is not in the fourth stimulus package when debuted tomorrow, they're opposing it. This is a breaking developing story. It's just happening minutes ago. Second, a new report says 13 states in the country are refusing to honor the $10,200 tax-free element of unemployment under the third stimulus package. And the president is having a new press briefing by his press secretary minutes ago. One of the viewers claims, but I've not been able to confirm this yet, so this is merely conjecture, that there's an additional indication that stimulus checks are coming for SSI and SSDI recipients around exactly the time frame I had told you. This is Mornings LALATE. Good morning, everybody. And yes, during that opening credits, someone also repeated the comment that I was waiting to hear from. April 7th or April 6th, Social Security beneficiaries. Now, what I'm going to go over in this video is I already have some viewers who are beneficiaries who have pending checks this week and for April 3rd, 4th, and 5th before the 7th. So I'm going to go over all these details for you as well. I know this always sounds very confusing because you hear different dates at different places. So let me cut through it right now. If you've not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. Also like this video. And if you've not become a member, consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power Cow, Casino VIP. One of the hardest things I've had in this issue since that Representative Neal letter went out was that people thought that everyone is landing at a particular time. And minutes ago, the press secretary for the president announced that people on Social Security beneficiaries will get their stimulus checks on around April 6th or 7th. Again, this is making the situation muddy, and I don't like it. I'm going to tell you why. Because I have people who are on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, and railroad benefits who have pending deposits for tomorrow, March 31st. In deposit accounts, and also pending mail checks for April 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th, and 6th. I also have them with pending mail checks for March 26th. And yet, when the press secretary gives one date, I know what's going to happen is that people are going to say, oh, I'm just not getting it until that date of April 6th. And they may miss it in the mail when it comes before that date. So let me cut over to what's happening right now. There was a first wave of stimulus checks on March 17th. There was a second wave of stimulus checks on March 24th. The third wave of stimulus checks is March 31st. We really don't know how many people are getting on March 31st tomorrow. I have had viewers send me their pending deposits for tomorrow, March 31st. This includes people on Direct Express card. This includes people on SSI and SSDI. This includes people not on SSI and SSDI. This includes people who bank at big banks, small banks, and credit unions. It includes every walk of life. Now, I also have hundreds of thousands of viewers of the same group who have pending mail checks from March 26th that they still have not gotten as of this morning, March 30th. A lot showed up yesterday. That was the great news. They showed up late, the 29th. Also, I have a lesser group of people, smaller group of people who have pending mail checks who are also on benefits for April 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. So ultimately, you know what I'm saying, is that when someone comes out and says one date for all people, then everyone just is going to repeat that ad nauseum and say, oh, I'm only that one date, I'm only that one person, and I'm only that situation. And why I don't think that's helpful is the following, is if you don't look at the mail between now and that date, you may miss it in the mail. Or if you don't look at the bank account before that date, you may miss its deposit. So let me cut into the other breaking developing news, which is minutes ago, 21 Democrats just wrote the president again a letter. Again. This is not the one I've been referring to over the last few weeks. This is a new letter. And they wrote a letter again saying, tomorrow you're going to be introducing the fourth stimulus package. Well, guess what? We're not going to give you the vote unless there's monthly checks in there. This time they're saying the amount, $1,400. So finally we have clarity. These are senators and these are Democrats. Now, if you watch Mornings LA right before this, I revealed to you, and if you watch yesterday's shows as well, I revealed to you that Chuck Schumer is trying to do this one again by reconciliation. He will be able to do it by reconciliation. What's important to know is that when it lands in the Senate by reconciliation, despite whatever the president puts in the bill, the minute it lands to the Senate, those 21 Senate Democrats were going to say, hi, I have an amendment. Here's the amendment. This is what we're voting on the amendment. 21 of 50 senators will vote on an amendment. And guess what? They'll pass it. They don't even need the president to agree upon the situation. If the president wants to throw them under the bus, they're going to say, hey, we're going to do the bill without your support because we can amend things by reconciliation when it does the vote-a-rama. Remember vote-a-rama? Yep. From a few weeks ago. Once the bill lands in the Senate, those Senate Democrats can do whatever they want to do. That's what happened with Manchin last time. That's what happened with the Arizona senator. They can make demands. They can call for amendments. And that's why FPUC landed at $300 a week in the Senate, not at $400 a week. And since we're on amendments, let me go over another amendment. That Senate amendment from Vote-a-Rama for third stimulus of $10,200 for tax-free unemployment. Your first $10,200 is tax-free. Guess what? A new report out minutes ago also says 13 states are refusing to honor it. Oh my goodness. I don't know how they're going to get away with that because it's federal law. Federal law controls. But with that, let me jump into the live chat and see what people are saying right now. Paul Harrison, net spend, nothing yet. So net spend is prepaying. So I've had several viewers on net spend prepay. If you don't have net spend by now, you may not be getting a direct deposit this week. Let me see what else people are saying. I have nothing pending, says Becky. And the IRS tool does not work. Yes, Robert Scheel, he's absolutely right. Net spend customers have gotten their direct deposits. He's absolutely right. Yesterday on Evenings LALATE, it was hysterical because it was a tape show. And during the tape recording, I say, guess what? I've had viewers from NetSpend and MetaBank get their third wave of stimulus checks. And as soon as that video aired, right when I say that in a tape recording, Quintero, who's a longtime viewer, shares a super chat, says, guess what? I just got it from NetSpend MetaBank right now. So, yeah. So if you have not seen it post from NetSpend MetaBank, then it's likely not going to come by direct deposit this week. It would likely come in the mail. Let me jump back into the live chat. So Aviation Dreams, my check says it was mailed March 26th, but nothing yet. So let me go over the mail checks. Thank you, Aviation Dreams. So Aviation Dreams is in the largest group of my viewers. The largest number of my viewers are people with a mail check March 26 date. That March 26 date includes people on the Direct Express card. Getting an alert, it's not coming on the Direct Express card, it's coming in the mail March 26. It includes people on big banks with direct who are on beneficiaries, saying it's coming on March 26 by mail, and includes people not on benefits. This is what you need to know for Aviation Dreams and everyone for March 26. That March 26 is not the date you get the check. When it says a date plus mail, that's not the date you're getting the check. IRS is not representing you're going to get the check that day. That is rather the effective date of the check. That is the date that is signed in the corner of the check. when you look at the check, it'll be marked, dated March 26. That is not the date the check goes out, and it is also not the date you're receiving the check. So when would you likely receive the check? You generally would receive benefit checks 2 days ahead of time. So this check is late. It's about 4 to 5 days late. My March 26 checks started to land yesterday, March 29th, and more have landed today, the 30th. So the good news is you're getting the check. It's late in the mail. It's about 4 to 5 days late. For my other viewers who have March 30th, March 31st checks, April 2nd to April 5th checks, they're about 4 to 5 days late. So that is what you want to add on when looking at that IRS tool. Meantime, if you're using the IRS tool, get no results, you're looking at your bank, no results, what should you do? This is what you should do. You should use the microcosm of this channel, which is 500,000 to 1 million viewers per day, and see that you could be in those particular groups and consider all the possibilities. Over 50% of the viewers of this channel have it come in by mail. So you could have it potentially coming by mail. Next, the most common date by mail is that March 26th. So yours would likely come earlier than the press conference minutes ago said April 6th. It would likely come earlier than April 6th by mail. Third, a small fraction, not a large, a small fraction has pending deposits for tomorrow of March 31st by direct deposit. This includes Direct Express. This includes the big banks and the small banks. These are viewers of this channel who have sent me the actual direct deposit pending notices. If you do not have a pending notice and you do not have a direct deposit pending, even if you're on Direct Express, it's likely it may not be happening because it's a small fraction of this channel. The largest fraction, again, is the mail checks. Let me jump back into the live chat right now and see what some of the people are saying. Great comments so far on viewers this morning. Oh, the screen is locking up. So Northern Grace use an IRS non-filer filing tool. Good. I'm glad you did, because now Treasury is using that as the reason, as a big issue for providing stimulus. So I'm glad you did. Trina, we who get Direct Express, nothing pending. Untrue, Trina. Untrue. What I need you to know, if you are just joined this channel or you're a new viewer, there is not one group that has nothing or everything anywhere. That's what we've seen. There is not one group that has nothing or everything pending everywhere. I have Direct Express consumers who have already gotten stimulus checks on March 24th. I have Direct Express consumers who have pending deposits for tomorrow, March 31st. I have Direct Express consumers who have pending mail checks for March 26th. So it is not a good thing to ever say that one group is absolutely one place at one time. We can see large groups in certain places at a time, but never ever say that one group is at one place. That's why I don't like that press conference minutes ago, where it seems to suggest that everyone is on one date and exactly one date. You know, it could be a large segment, but it's not absolutely everyone, and it's not only that date as well. Let me jump back into the live chat, see what other people are saying. My address is weird, so it won't show up, says David Lambert. That is my number one concern. If you've been a viewer for this channel for a while, you know my number one concern is not direct deposit or mail or anything else. It's when your address is changed or there's something wrong with your address. That's the hardest thing to fix, and the biggest thing to be concerned about is when there's something peculiar about your address. Remember, meantime, as a separate subject, if you have a representative payee, you're not getting a stimulus check. They are. If you are dependent on someone else's tax return, you're not getting the stimulus check. They are. If you're a member of a household, they're getting the stimulus check. You aren't. So remember, who gets a stimulus check, they need to watch their mail and also their bank account. Let me jump back into more of the comments. There's a great question. So Holly says, do you have to use the filing tool? I'm on SSI and SSDI. Let me answer that question. That is an incredibly big, great question from Holly. Last year, Treasury specifically said if you're on SSI and SSDI, do not use the tool. They said don't use the tool because we know where you are. We would provide you benefits every month. We know where you are. So don't use the tool. They said the only situation which someone on SSI and SSDI should use the tool last year was when you had a child and that you were worried the IRS doesn't know about the child to give them a stimulus check. They said in those circumstances, use the tool. And then there was only one other situation. They said, if you just went on benefits in the year 2020, use the tool. But if you've been on benefits for years, don't need to use it. That was last year. And then just a few days ago, they said completely the opposite. Do I have that right here? Yep, I do. This is completely the opposite just a few days ago. For federal beneficiaries who did not file a 2019 or 2020 tax return, nor did not use the non-filer filing tool, the IRS is working directly with Social Security to ensure that we have the information. So wait a second, this is not what was represented before. Suddenly the situation has changed. So that's why it's important to understand that things are just changing left and right across the board. Let's jump back more into the live chat right now. No one talking about Comerica, Joan. On this channel, I don't talk about bank by bank, but understand Comerica is Direct Express card. So when I'm referring to Direct Express card, I'm referring to people who have a Direct Express card underwritten by Comerica. There have been reports that some people have their Direct Express card underwritten by other banks, but I'm specifically referring to the Direct Express card when written by Comerica. Nothing pending from Wells, says Joanne. Don't worry, because 9 out of 10 times people do not have anything pending and it just appears. Hugh, nothing pending for Wells. Bring back the Pony Express, says Brian. Portal, okay, so Tamon says portal, the IRS portal, still says deposit date of March 17th. So you are a situation I'm a little worried about because I've had people with a March 17th date and the portal has updated itself. Yours is very backed up. So I'm a little worried about that. If I was you, I would take it up with a supervisor at your bank because that is a big issue. David Jackson. So is April 2nd going to be late? I would say the following. I would watch the mail all this week and then for the next week and a half. Why? For David Jackson. David Jackson says, will my April 2nd check be late? Here's what I want you to know. I want you to watch that mail like a hawk until you get that check. I mean, that's the easiest way to say it. Because my March 26 checks are about 4 to 5 days late currently. Today is what, the 30th? And some people are getting it today. Some got a couple hundred got it yesterday. So they're about 4 to 5 days late. So if you add 4 to 5 days on April 2nd, you're out to April 6th. Now, I did have some people from the March 26 check get it on March 23rd, 3 days ahead of time. And I had people from the first wave get their checks several days ahead of time. So David, your check could come early, but it could also come 4 to 5 days late. So simply watch the mail every day. Remember, your check will likely come in either a beige or white envelope. It's a very indescript envelope that you could easily toss. This is the envelope that delivered the debit card for the second stimulus. It's very thin. It's laser thin. All it has in there is a check or a debit card and nothing else. If you don't watch for it, you could easily toss it. It looks like junk mail. There's no logo or insignia on the outside of the envelope. If you got a stimulus check for for this one in the mail. Can you send me an image of it? I'd like to see if your envelope looks different than this envelope. The more envelopes I can show the viewers of this channel, the better it is. But this was for the second wave, and it shows in the corner red lettering that says information about your economic impact payment. Again, information about your economic impact payment. Beige or white, very skinny, easy to be misplaced. If you do not grab this from the mail and throw it away, I got to tell you, it's one of the hardest things you'll ever do to get that check replaced. Let's listen in for a second and hear what the press secretary is talking about right now during a press briefing from the White House. Let's listen in for just a second.
To his own vision and his own objectives. You'll certainly hear him talk about that tomorrow. And but the speech is really about, it's about jobs, it's about investing in the industries of the future, and it's about rebuilding parts of our communities that have long been forgotten.
And does the White House have a response to this new Chinese law finalized earlier today that essentially allows them to vet parliamentary candidates in Hong Kong for so-called non-patriots to not be allowed to run for office?
I know we have certainly expressed concerns about the undemocratic steps of the Chinese government in the past. I'll have to check with our national security team. I had not asked them about this specific piece, but we will get back to you shortly after the briefing. Go ahead, Chris.
So Chuck Schumer is urging people to write and email the president, the White House, in hopes that he will cancel up to $50,000 of student loan debt. Why do you think that Schumer has such a fundamentally different reading of what the president can and should do? And if you could answer yes or no, has the president ruled out taking unilateral action on this yet?
No, he has not. I will say that I do have some good student loan news for you, which you didn't even know you were going to tee up for me, but we will be expanding the pause on student loan interest and collections to the more than 1 million borrowers who are in default on a loan that was made by a private lender in the old bank-based loan program known as the Federal Family Education Loan Program. This step particularly protects 800,000 borrowers who are at risk of having their tax refunds seized. That's actually a pretty significant steps. The president continues to call on Congress to cancel $10,000 in debt for student loan borrowers. That's something Congress could take an action on, and he'd be happy to sign. We're still taking a closer look at our options.
You're hearing breaking news right
on student
now
loans. This includes examining the authorities we have, the existing loan forgiveness programs that are clearly not working as well as they should. This includes borrower defense, total and permanent disability charges. There's a lot of steps we're looking at, and we'll continue to review those and be in touch, of course, with Leader Schumer about our process.
Do you have a sense of the timing on that, how long those reviews might take?
I don't have an update on the timing. There's a legal and a policy review. Go ahead. Oh, Trevor, did you have a question? I didn't mean to escape. Go ahead.
I always have a question.
Of course.
So first, just on the infrastructure questions that we were talking about,
Yeah.
You said yesterday that there would be a dollar-for-dollar accounting of how the measures would be paid for.
Yep, paid for over time. Yep.
Paid for over time. Mm-hmm. Is the president willing to sign a bill that does not pay dollar for dollar for all of the proposals that he has?
Well, the president believes it's responsible to propose a way for paying over time for his vision for investing in infrastructure and our economy and American workers. There will be a range of views, including how to pay for it. People will be for or against. Some people may not want to pay for it, and he's open to having those discussions. So, but the focus of his speech, of his proposal, is on investing in America. We're talking about tax reform proposals that would help pay for it over time. But the reason he is putting those forward is because he thinks it's responsible to put forward a plan to pay for it as a means of discussing that. But it's really about investing in workers.
But he is open to deficit financing in a final package. Is that?
Again, I think we haven't even proposed the speech yet. There will be a range of views on Capitol Hill, as we all certainly know.
24 hours to go,
He's proposing a way
the
to
question
pay for
whether there's
his
taxes
proposals
being raised
over
or not.
time. We'll look forward to hearing from members of Congress on how they want to approach it, given there's such strong support for infrastructure investment across the country.
Okay, and just on a quick one on foreign policy, Iran has come out.
So if you're just joining me, you are watching a live press briefing, and boy, we had a lot of shocking development details right there. Chuck Schumer has reportedly told Americans to email the president and say, forgive my $50,000 student loan debt. That sounds so friendly, doesn't it? They are in the same party. And it's just spam email the president saying, forgive your $50,000 student loan debt. That doesn't sound very polite. On the same breath, the president would not give indication why he has not made a determination about the $50,000. She says he's still thinking about it. Let me give you a recap. The president has been opposed the question of $50,000 student loan debt since December of 2020 from Leader Schumer. So this is not something new. I don't know why it takes 4 months for the president to make a determination, yes or no. The president has said 4 times before no, but now he is pushing back for 10,000 again now today. Also in this video, you heard that there's a new extension of the student loan eviction, the student loan moratorium, which is to protect you from default or collections. There is an extension of it. She was not particularly clear as to what date, but that was a big surprising breaking news right there, that there is a new executive order now in place that protects your student loan debts from being enforced against you for longer than what was already on the books for this president. Finally, she, of course, in detail that tomorrow is forced stimulus, and with forced stimulus, the president is not adverse to debt funding for the forced stimulus package, meaning not using tax increases or tax reform, as she called it. Boy, that was a lot of stuff in that video, and I didn't cut into her earlier. Maybe see what she had to say as well. Let me jump back into the live chat. Look, let's see what some of the people are saying right now. I got a bunch of stimulus checks with Direct Express. So am I getting the third one in the mail or Direct Express? Says TC Michigan. And someone else asked the same question as well. So this is what you need to know. If you are just tuning in and you're wondering where that $14 third stimulus check is coming, it could be coming in 2 different locations. It could be coming in the mail, and it could also be coming by direct deposit. If you're a Direct Express consumer, understand this. I do have Direct Express consumers who have pending deposits for tomorrow. They've sent me the alerts. I've seen the screen grabs. They have pending deposits of their $14 third stimulus check from Direct Express for tomorrow. They also have pending deposit alerts from IRS.GOV pending for tomorrow. Also, I have hundreds of thousands of them for pending mail checks from March 26th that are still late. Some of them showed up yesterday. More will show up today as well. This is March 26th, mail. It's late. It's 4 or 5 days after the effective date of the check. So it's late. And then I have other people on Direct Express card who have pending mail checks for April 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. That would likely either come early on that date or up to 5 days late. Why do I say early? Because I've had people under the second wave get their mail checks 3 to 4 days early as well. So if the long answer to the question is Direct Express consumers are getting them both in the mail and also in the deposit account. What is the proportion? It's over 50% are getting in the mail. And it's likely to potentially grow because Treasury's last official statement was if you did not get it by direct deposit on March 24th, it's in the mail. So that was a great question, and thank you for dropping that. Let me jump back into the live chat right now and see what other people are asking in this big morning's broadcast. Trina, Megabank, Metabank, nothing pending. Douglas, nothing pending. Portal has nothing pending for me, says Jimmy. Shannon, nothing pending and nothing from the portal tool. Paul, what is this April 7th that's being talked about? Okay, let me cut back to that April 7th. The press secretary in the video you just saw, which is a live video, earlier before in that live video when I did not show it because I was off camera, she reportedly said that some beneficiaries will receive a stimulus check on April 7th in the mail. Now, here's what I want you to know, is that I think from her sentence to eventually where people are going to hear it are going to think that everyone is getting it that date and that place. And what I want you to understand is that's 100% categorically untrue. I have people on Social Security, SSI, SSDI, Social Security and Rural Benefits who have pending deposits tomorrow for Direct Express, big banks, and small banks. I have people who already got their benefit checks under the second wave of March 24th and just got their third wave by direct deposit from NetSpend. Meantime, I also have hundreds of thousands of viewers on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, Rural Benefits, and Direct Express card have pending mail checks for March 26, which are now delayed about 4 days out. A couple hundred got it yesterday, more got it today. And then I have a smaller group that have pending checks from April 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th, which is, of course, very close to her date as well. So what I want you to understand is her date is guidance. It's very great guidance, but it's not the only date, and it's not the only place. And please do not take that date and presume it's the only place or the only date. Watch the mail and watch that direct deposit account every single day until the check lands. Remember, the check, when it comes in the mail, is either a beige envelope or a white envelope. If you've received it in the mail the last few days, can you send me a screen grab on social media, on Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram? This is the second stimulus check. It was a white envelope. It's very bland. It looks like junk mail. It comes very thin. All it has in there is either a check or a debit card. You can literally toss it if you're not paying attention. And there's no logo, no insignia. It doesn't say anything on it. All it says is information about your economic payment. And if you throw it away, it's not good a situation. Meantime, I'll be back with you at noontime LA as we go over more details as well. Thank you for joining me on a very interactive and very helpful video. And boy, we heard a lot of breaking details from the press secretary. Let me recap what the breaking details were at the beginning of this video. It's been a jam-packed day. 20 plus Senate Democrats have today, this is new today, again, written a letter to the president saying that when your forced stimulus bill lands in the Senate by reconciliation for vote-a-rama, where they can do amendments, we are going to do an amendment for monthly $1,400 fourth stimulus checks every month. So either you put it in there or we're putting it in there. And that's nearly 50% of the Democratic senators. This is not a small group. This is huge. Number two, during the live video from the press secretary, she was asked whether the president will push back and accept the $50,000 student loan debt forgiveness, which Chuck Schumer is now urging Americans to email the president about. She said he has not made a determination, wants to do $10,000, but she did have a breaking news announcement that he's extending the moratorium on foreclosure or enforcement of the student loan debt, which is currently by executive order. And finally, a new report that says nearly 15 states are refusing to honor the third stimulus $10,200 tax-free element of unemployment under third stimulus. There's a lot happening today. In the meantime, Wall Street has been a little bit volatile as well. I'll be back at noontime with all these details and more. I appreciate you for joining me. If you've not subscribed, make sure you give a birthday subscription. It's birthday week here on this channel, so I don't want you to miss a single video across the board. Make sure you subscribe. Also like this video. And if you've not become a member, consider becoming a member. Let's see if we can do 2,000-3,000 likes. Stay informed, stay focused, and I'll see you more as Noontime LA kicks up in just a few minutes.